Here is another communication question where I find students making mistakes, and the whole idea of this folder is to highlight the areas where you could lose marks. And for my students who normally should get 90% or more, this is important to understand, not to make mistakes. Avoid if you can, right? So exposure to such problems is very important for them. Now here is the problem. It says it's on rate of change, right? Explain how the rate of change changes in reciprocal and quadratic parent function, right? Well, this is from Unit 1 of Advanced Functions course, where we are understanding characteristics of functions, right? And quadratic function and reciprocal functions are basic parent functions. Now, let's try to sketch them first and then see how the rate of change changes, right? So here we have, let's have both the functions here. So okay, this reciprocal function I should draw like this, right? Now, for a quadratic function, I will draw a parabola like y equals to x squared, kind of like this, right? And for a reciprocal function, it is 1 over x. Is it okay? Like this, correct? So this is the horizontal asymptote and that's the vertical asymptote. Is that okay? Now, and these points are kind of critical. These are 1, 1, right? Okay, so let's say this is our reciprocal function. I'm writing 1 over x here, and here my function is f of x is equals to x squared, right? Here f of x is equals to 1 over x. So that is the reciprocal function. Now, students in a hurry, they just write, they think it is kind of interval of increasing and decreasing. And they will say, well, from minus infinity to 0 it decreases and then increases thereafter. And here they find that the interval of decreasing is all throughout, right? The value here changes from 0 to a high negative value, so it's decreasing, right? So, and here also it decreases all throughout. Well, the question is not on interval of increasing and decreasing. The question is explain how rate of change is what they're asking for. Do you understand? Rate of change. Now, what is rate of change and how do you find rate of change for a function, right? Well, at any point you can find the rate of change by drawing a tangent at that point. Is that okay? Now, so that's how we'll see how the rate of change is at a point, and then if we compare different tangents, we can see how the rate of change changes, correct? So let me just draw some tangents for you. Let's say at this point here, we'll draw one tangent like this, right? So this is a tangent here, right? And if I want to draw a tangent here, then it will be kind of like this, and if I want to draw here, it will be kind of like this, right? On this side, it will be like this, and then like this, right? Now what you will notice is, what is the slope of this tangent, right? It is negative, right? It is going down, therefore it is negative. So I see it is negative. How about this? Well, this is also negative, but this is less negative, right? And so this is negative, right? And how about this? This is less negative. Is that okay? And how about this? This is slope here because this is a horizontal line, right? So it is 0. So we are talking about rate of change, right? Rate of change equals to 0 here, right? Because horizontal. Here, rate of change is positive, right? And here it becomes more steeper, right? So I'll say positive, positive, right? So as we go higher and higher, it becomes more and more positive. Do you see that? So if you compare from left to right, one thing is you have to always see your graph from left to right. So let me make that note and in a different ink, okay? So whenever you check a graph, we have to see from left to right, okay? This is kind of a must, right? And then if we compare from left to right, what do you see about the rate of change? So we say that the rate of change is negative, becomes less negative, 0, positive, more positive, more positive. That means rate of change is always increasing, right? It is never decreasing. The rate of change is always always increasing in the interval from minus infinity to plus infinity. Do you understand that part? So that's very unique characteristics of a parabola, right? And from here, I would like my students to understand that you should always remember that it is rate of change, it is not the function increasing, decreasing, okay? So rate of change is always increasing for parabola. Now here, you can do the same exercise and you'll find here, if I draw a tangent here, it's kind of zero, right? Kind of zero, right? And here it becomes going downwards, so it's negative, correct? And here, if I draw a tangent, I'll write two negatives, right? More and more negative, right? So it becomes more and more negative, right? So in this interval, we see that it decreases from 0 to infinity. How about this? Now this is kind of, these are also negative. Do you see that? These are also all negative, right? But this is high negative, right? Let me write more negative, right? This is less negative, right? And this approaches 0. Do you see that? So when we go from negative to 0, that means increasing or decreasing? That is increasing, right? From negative to 0 if you go, that means rate of change is increasing, right? And here, so that means in this quadrant 1, the rate of change is increasing, but in quadrant 3, what is happening? We are going from 0 to negative, it is decreasing. So we say rate of change decreases, right? From negative infinity to 0, right? It can never be at 0, right? But rate of change increases from 0 to positive infinity. Does it make sense? It is more high negative and it becomes positive and then more positive, right? So that's how it is. And the rate of change decreases here and then increases, right? So that is how you have to see rate of change, correct? By drawing the tangents at each point and then comparing their slope. You don't really have to find a value for the slope. You have to just see whether it is high negative, low negative, 0, positive, or more positive, right? That gives you the change in rate of change, okay? I hope you understand. And you can apply the same to all other parent functions, correct? To understand how to answer this question on rate of change. Normally I've seen writing increasing, decreasing, or the intervals where the function is positive or negative are simpler, but rate of change is one place where the students can lose a mark, right? Which I don't want them to lose, right? Have a good look at it, correct? Have a good look at it and understand the concept and read the problem carefully. If it asks for rate of change, then you have to draw tangents and see how it changes as we move from left to right, okay? Bear that in mind, okay? I hope you get it. Correct. Thank you.